And good morning, everyone. This is the Good Morning Education Show. Today is Thursday, and this is the 13th of August, and we're excited to be live and direct with you. It's going to be an exciting time today, and I'd like you to sit up and enjoy yourself, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. We are ready. We are live and direct today, streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, to the entire world. And usually, I like to start by telling you that there's always a saying we have on the Good Morning Education Show, and we always say that it's always a great morning on the Good Education Show. So let me bring up my colleagues, my strong voices, my top voices, and of course, like some people would like to say, they are goons, right? All right, so let's bring them up this morning as they say good morning. Let's welcome Titi in the building. Titi, good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone. Good morning, good
How are
morning,
you
good
today?
morning. We're doing great. We're doing
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right. And then, of course, we have Eben Then,
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
all right. And of course, she's warming up. She's ready with a smile. I'm sure if you need some glasses to shield yourself from the brightness of the sparkles, get ready to welcome Safety Chick. Yes, I told you. I told you. Show the world, show the world, show the world. Oh my God. See those white, sparkling.
I of what is my this toothpaste guys like
Better write proposal for ambassadorship with Unilever or something. Don't waste the sharpness of your teeth. I thought I saw Jude. What's happening? Where's Jude? The
morning
prophet
event.
that
Good morning. Good morning, safety chicks. Good morning, Mrs. Titi. Mrs. Titi, good morning, ma.
all right. Hello. Okay, so we had a great time yesterday. We're talking about so many things. And let me just acknowledge those who are joining us online. I'm seeing change gear, but I think I know that face. It looks like it's Favor. Favor has changed gear and has changed name. All right, welcome. Welcome to the show this morning, Favor, or change gear, or Favor look alike. I I have some headlines that I want us to talk about, and we will also head over to uh, to connectivity issue. And of course, I told Ifyok yesterday that be joining us on the show. So um, Ifyok, please send me a message. I need to send you the link so that you can join us. Definitely, you can't escape this morning. So Ifyok, we're waiting for you. Um, Dr. Jude, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Rotimi. Good morning, Eben. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Safety Check.
Dr.
Good
Jude.
morning,
Perfect Jude.
The prophets of tech.
so I wish salad is giving me hiccups. I don't know.
You have to get your own network.
I don't know. I think Airtel is still better in my area.
Oh, I think Mr. Rotimi is out of coverage.
Rotary, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, me.
Yeah.
Seriously, I've
Oh,
been on mute. Oh my God. Can you imagine? And okay, it happens. All right. Okay, so we're starting today, and today we're going to be talking about something interesting and something I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear, learn, and talk about. So before we get to the topic of today, as usual, we will go to our news corner. But then, let me just ask. Did anybody hear about the Unilag scenario?
Yeah, the removal, should I say the proposed removal of the vice chancellor? I mean,
All right, so we're going to head over to the news section quickly, and then we'll not take. There's some headlines that I prepared that we will take directly. We're not putting it in any form of media. And it's safety check. Why are you doing that now? Open your thing. Let's see. Open it. Open it. Open it. All right, to the news right now. Okay, so we're back and we're live. This is the Good Morning Education Show, and we are excited to be here sharing your morning with you. And we do this every day, Mondays through Fridays. And we are always excited to have fantastic people in the building, in the house. And today we are joined also by our Rhoda. Rhoda, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, the Good Morning Education Show. I love to say that.
See how Rhoda is
Hello,
sounding.
Rhoda.
Rhoda is
Hello,
sounding like you're
Rhoda.
teaching in the crèche or something. Good morning.
I've
And
actually had
Cynthia is smiling like she's going for Miss World, and she's smiling. And then Titi is hiding some alerts. I am definitely sure Titi has been paid this week. Trust me, I'm a body language expert. I see that smile on Titi's face. This is not smile of happiness, it's a smile of alertness. And Jude is still hiding. Jude, you are still
Yeah,
hiding.
yeah. I'm enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the show.
Can you guys just look at Eben's studio, Las Vegas, Nevada studio, and it's beaming with the picture and camera quality. Eben has launched a new powerful device that is using to stream with us today. I'm exposing you little by little. Eben, I see you.
And I
I
also want to
see
say
you.
something about your picture quality. I think something is happening. I know everybody's also observing. Your lighting is
Lights, camera,
you're
action.
not getting. Yeah, there's something.
My camera.
No, not
What
even your
happened to
camera. I
it?
think your lighting. Before you were
Your
dark at
lighting, yeah.
anything, but now you're getting fair.
Before I'm darker now, I'm getting brighter.
Change
You're
position.
getting.
Change
You are a sinner. You need repentance. All right, the headline news. Titi, what's your take on the headlines?
You're muted, Lucy.
the first one was America is no longer number one for
Literate.
financial. I don't think that's really a surprise. other countries have really been pushing, really been pushing. Finland has been like the success story in the education space for a while. So I'm not surprised with that. It just shows that, to get there, you have to put in the work, and you have to put in the work consistently over a long time. So we're really praying when, we have Nigeria, an African country, on the top 10. So I think that's it for me.
When will an African country top a chart?
Yeah.
When? Do you want to prophesy?
I leave that to the prophet to prophesy,
Oh my God. Dude, the prophecy button has come back to you.
Okay. Getting there is a matter of doing the work. You can't be playing, and you can't even be depending on other countries' curriculum to get there. You have to work on yourself.
All right. So, any other person wants to share on the news? Safety chick, any thoughts on the news headline?
Okay, still in tune with what Mrs. Odelis said. It's really about consistency. I don't think it's something that when a country gets there, you just feel like you've arrived and then you relax. It's just you have to continue doing the great work that you're doing. You don't just feel like you have arrived and then you relax. Because while you are relaxing, everybody's also trying to up their game and get into that top 10 list. So it's about consistency. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. Always beat your previous record. Don't be so confident and comfortable where you are.
So you have to stay ahead and keep your head up, right? I like that. Rhoda, did you meet the news? Did you meet the headline news?
No, I didn't. But if I could jump off what Christy and Safety Chick has said, it's for me it's even not as much as beating your last competition, but building national development in terms of like knowing what your problems are and trying to ensure that you solve it without looking at likely benchmarks or ratings or rankings, um, especially for countries like ours where we have such deep rooted academic issues or educational issues. We want to just get to one stage first, 100% literacy rate, 100% good schools, 100% near 100% teacher quality and welfare. Just get us to somewhere where we need to be, and then we can begin to think about competing. But I believe me, I believe when we do that, then we won't need to compete. We'll just be competitive. Yeah, that's it really for me. I didn't get to hear the others. I didn't meet the headlines.
But I'm sure you know about the Unilag. Sorry,
The what? Sorry,
the VC, the Unilag VC story updates.
I didn't hear that. Ooh, what was that?
Okay, Rhoda, you've been in US for too long.
That was some shade. Okay.
Your alma mater. There's a controversy on the VCs, like they're trying to get the VC out of his office.
I'm sure they've not.
Well,
Yeah.
they are trying to seek redress from the court because they felt that the procedure of removal, as at yesterday, wasn't proper. It wasn't following due process.
Oh.
Yeah.
I will dig into that story.
Okay. So KK, welcome to the show, KK.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning,
Good
Rhoda.
That's not
Good morning,
KK.
Good morning, Eden, Jude, and
That's not
Gochi. Good
KK.
morning.
That's
Morning.
not
Morning, KK.
KK. Back. I'm going to ask you to say good morning to everyone in a KK way. You know you are representing a public.
But I just
KK,
did.
No. You have to say it very well. Ready?
No, we're done.
3, 2, 1. Camera light and action. KK is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome KK to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's been
All right.
a very busy week.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I hear that students are finding the safety protocol difficult to follow. It's been online all through yesterday on different platforms. A lot of students are finding the safety protocol to follow.
Well, I don't know about that, but well, I guess there's a curve, isn't it, for learning something new and mastering a skill, or mastering anything really. So it only follows that that curve will just come into play, even
Mhm.
when it has to do with safety requirements and tools. So that's not surprising. They should have been ready for it. I mean, we all should be ready for it. It's not easy, even to use a pencil to eat a new cereal. So there is the learning curve. So when they learn it, they would eventually get there.
Okay, fantastic. Then also, I don't know, did anybody get to hear Rhoda, Jude, Eben, Titi, Safety Chick? Did you hear about sensitization on lactose-free milk being needed?
No.
Being what?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Lactose-free milk needed.
Well, is that even a thing? Is that supposed to be a thing?
It
Yeah.
was it was
Yeah,
it was one of
I've
the
seen lactose-free products. I think I took one this week. Yeah,
okay.
lactose-free milk. I liked it.
There are many
I'm not
options.
saying-
Almond, there's oat, there's coconut. There are many options.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's head over to the conversation of today. If you're listening to us right now, I actually have sent you a link for you to join us. We believe that we're having a showcase segment for you today. So please
Yay.
join us. I've sent the link to your messenger on Facebook. Please ensure that you do join us on the show. So today we're talking about sex education, pros and cons, right? And I know that we have able people in the group today to talk about this. And most times, when you hear the word sex, it's like it comes with this emergency tune in videos, that kind of thing. So okay, some of you don't watch movies, right? All right,
Weird.
all right. Okay, so who wants to start? Who should start? What's happening today?
I think safety chick should start. When we talk about sex education,
Sex
it,
pro-
it, it's from a safety perspective, first of all. It's from a protection safety chick.
Okay, interestingly, supposed to be speaking about this on Sunday with a group. So, sex education. Many times when people hear sex education, like Mr. Retimi mentioned, there's that thing. The families are worried, the parents are worried. How do we go about it? Now, the truth is, if we do not do anything about sex education early, children are going to learn about it from the wrong sources. Either they're going to learn about it from their peers, or they're going to learn about it from miscreants, adults who are trying to take advantage of their innocence. So very recently, some days ago, someone sent a video to me on Instagram, and it was a girl. She shot a video where she was saying that her father started to abuse her when she was 5, and it was when she was 12, and in school they taught about sexual abuse, that she realized that what her father had been doing to her had been wrong. And all this while the mom had left the home. And when she told her mom couldn't do it because even her mom was afraid of the dad. And she said eventually her dad was arrested for murder, but he was released for after just 1 year. And now she's scared that he's coming back and her life is in danger. And that video was shared by Tonya Bruce Not Broken, something like that, on Instagram. And I remember that I've actually met Miss Tonya myself and we've had some conversation, and there is actually a whole lot going on. Guys, it is bad. The fact that you're not hearing about it, the fact the ones who are hearing now is just a minute fraction of what is going on out there. So this is what I always like to say. Okay, so this is always what I like to say to parents, that you should prepare your children before the day of the problem. Many times what happens is children find themselves in scenarios, safety scenarios, and they do not actually know what they are supposed to do because nobody has said anything about it to them. So they are left with trying to, I hope you guys didn't hear all that. I don't know what's going on in the neighborhood. Anyways, so many times children have actually not been informed of what to do. They find themselves in a situation and then they are now left with trying to think, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react to this? So in their own childish wisdom, they make certain decisions, and then that is not good. I had a case where a child, there's this uncle, a male child, this uncle has started trying to befriend this male child, dash him money, buy him things, and all these kinds of things. And then he started trying to ask him to teach his private part, all those kinds of things. But the little boy did not want to tell his elder ones because he felt, I can handle it. I'll just use style, collect all the money, and nothing would happen. But then he got compromised because you know how these adults that have ulterior motives can be. And eventually this little boy landed in the hospital because there were some things around his private part, and thankfully it was treated. And that's when the whole story came out, that this adult had been trying to take advantage of him. And he wasn't the only one. And this adult found him in church. So if you have not prepared your children ahead, when they find themselves in those kinds of situations, they will not know how to act, and they may even feel self-conscious about having that conversation with you, the parents. And this is why I believe that we must educate our children about sex, and no child is too small. If you have heard the cases now at Mirabel Center and all those other centers, the ages of the children keep going down by the day. 2-year-olds are being molested, 5-year-olds, like it's just crazy. So we have to prepare them. Now, preparing them would mean teaching them about this, but at their level. For example, you can't start teaching a 2-year-old the whole everything. So there are levels to it. You teach them based on their age, but as they grow, you keep adding to that information. But more importantly, you need to make your home such that your children feel comfortable to gist you about things happening around them. When there is an atmosphere of being able to gist, it's easy for them to tell you when something has happened. And then when they tell you, please, I keep saying this, you must be seen to take action. I remember speaking in a school in Abuja, and a 5-year-old told me that someone had touched her private part before. So I asked her, what did you do? She said, I told my mommy. What did your mommy do? My mommy did not do anything. If a 5-year-old has that consciousness that her mommy did not do anything, what that simply means is she may not tell her something else another time. And she may not start for other people to confide in. And then if she's confiding in people who do not have her interest at heart, they are going to take advantage of her innocence. So it's one thing for you to make your environment possible for your child to tell you, and then it's another thing for them to tell you, and then you are not transferring the blame to them, and you are seen to be taking action. Because when you take action, what it does is it boosts their confidence in you. They now see that, okay, my mommy or my daddy is going to fight for me. So if something will even happen another time, they are more comfortable to want to talk about it because they know you have their back. So I will just stop there so that other people can contribute, because trust me, I can talk for the next 1 hour.
Rotimi, we can't hear you. What's happening?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I would like to ask Rhoda this question. So, what exactly should be the purpose of sex education, especially in schools?
Okay, so if this is an in-school question, so the purpose of sex education basically is always around the world of high quality teaching, right, and learning, around what I would call a broad area or broad variety of topics that relate to two things, sex and sexuality. But it has to be high quality teaching. And that high quality teaching experience has to also be one that kind of explores values and beliefs around those topics. Because in our context, and it's not just in our context, I think we also have it even in developed world, values and beliefs being one of the critical, critical things to break in teaching about sex, in teaching generally about sex education. And I always like to say this, that you can't have a strong, high quality teaching on sex education without partnership or co-partnership of the parents. And that's where the breaking of the values, or the success on the breaking of the values and beliefs around this comes. Because you say one thing to the children in the school, which is great, right? But then they go back home and they experience something else. And we know that, look, whether we like it or not, children will learn or are learning about their sexuality all the time, whether or not this is done formally by their parents, caregivers, or teachers. Because this learning takes place every day through their own observation of adult relationships around them. And the images they see portrayed in the media about gender, body image, relationships, for most boys and girls, their puberty starts out at 9, right? Wow. And when you see those signs of puberty commencing at that age, if they begin to receive sexuality and relationships education or sex education prior to the onset of that puberty, what it does is that it ensures that those boys and girls are prepared for puberty changes and not just embarrassed by them, and also prepared for whatever the world and the adult relations behaviors around them. Look, when you turn on your screen, they're seeing it. Conversations I had, the adults around them, like I said, are doing things. So it's definitely in the world of high quality teaching, exploring values and beliefs. It's also in the world of talking about reproductive health, reproductive rights, and all of that, and rights, of course, to their body, rights of the child. So you don't want to talk about it without discussing the rights of a child. So it has to be, like I said, high quality teaching from an in-school experience, but it definitely must be in the world of co-partnership with the parents, co-ownership of sex and sexual sex education with parents, because the values and the belief systems are critical to success, to having a successful sex education program in any setting.
I'd like to take from where Rhoda has, started, to say, I think every school, if you ask me honestly, should be doing sex education, because this is something that it's not once, you have to do it continuously. But before you start it, you need to sit down with the parents and let them know this and this is what we'll be telling the children about, so that parents don't come fighting and say, why are you educating my child about this? So I think it's something that should be part of the parents' orientation schools do, to say, we every term we would have sex education talks with the children, and this is what we're going to cover for the various ages and for the various classes, so that they are aware. And also, educate the parents on why it's important. Honestly, the first time I became aware of the need to tell my children about sex education was done in my children's school. So I went for a parents' PTA meeting, and they got praised for OWE to come and have a discussion. By then, my first son was about 6 years old. Honestly, it was as if the scales just fell from my eyes. I was like, as if I'd been in darkness, so to speak, and I'd seen a great light. And as he brought statistics of, what's happening in the new world and the new age that children are reaching puberty and the new ages that people are having sex, and he told stories of 6 and 7 year olds. My mind, I was like, just imagine my child. But you know what? From that day onward, I made a conscious effort to buy books about teaching children on sex education. You realize how early I need to start. And what he said was that you need to start as young as 18 months. So my younger son, I then started early with him. And, they had already expressed what you needed to talk about, talk, good touch, bad touch, what you can touch and all that. So I made a conscious effort to tell them. And not only do I, take them through that process, I regularly ask them, you understand this? Has someone touched you? someone kiss
All
you, those kind of things. So the point I'm just making is, and what is interesting that as you ask them questions regularly, you'll be amazed what they will tell you that their friends are saying, what happened, But the advantage you have as a parent, and I'm talking to everyone as a parent that is listening, the advantage you have as a parent is that you must have what we call the first mover advantage, where they hear from you first. They hear about it from you first. So when other people are talking about it, they'll like, hey, my mom has told me about it. No, you can't touch me here. No, you can't do this. So for me, I would say sex education is very important. As much as possible, let the parents be the ones to kick it off. But as educators, we then have the obligation to start it, have it as part of our curriculum regularly, educating both the children and the parents, so that the parents are aware of the signs to look out for in case they are funny business. So, for instance, just to end with this, one of the things that when I listened to Professor Roy was to say that when a child starts to withdraw, those are typical signs of abuse. So there was a boy that comes to our house regularly, and I noticed that he was withdrawn. I was first of all debating, should I tell the parents? Parents these days now, they were saying, what's your business? But I just felt I needed to tell the parents. And I said, you know what? I just noticed that your son is not the same person anymore. He used to be more lively than this. I don't know what's happening, but I feel he's withdrawn. I think people should look into it. And they did look into the matter and found out what was the issue. I think, that's why I said the education for the parents as well is very key. So that apart from them educating our children, we can also see the signs. We can begin to notice the things that we should be doing, and we should allow. Uncles hugging your children, especially when your daughters sitting on their laps and things like that. So education, sex education, for me, not only from the school's perspective, but also from the parents. Thank you.
Quick comment, Titi, 30-second comment. Titi, yes, I agree. Why I agree with you 100% that this conversation should start with parents. One thing that is very critical is also that there's evidence that when children get abused, and this is now in the world of preventing abuse of sex, that is usually predominantly in the home environment. So it's either a parent to a child, or a nephew to it, or a cousin to a nephew, or stuff like that. Of the first engagement on sex education is bad, which is why school is the leveler here. And so there must be that partnership. Sometimes you go to your mom or your dad or your guardian, your caregiver, whoever it is at home. They introduce you to the wrong notion of sex and sex education. So which is why the partnership has to happen. I agree. Your children should be comfortable coming to you, right, to tell you stuff. But guess what? That's the reason why we have school, to be that level, to give you, to kind of like put the sanity to what you're hearing. And kind of, let me stop there. I didn't want to go too long.
Sorry, Roger, statistics say that 70% of abuse is really from the family, and 30% of that is parents. That's honestly, 70% is a family-related member, and 30% of that is a parent.
30% is a lot. We're talking about 1 in every 3 to 4 parents. That is astronomical. And this is why the danger in getting that first touch point of the conversation with parents is there as well. So that's why I said call it a co-partnership, because sometimes the parents are the problem, and that's why it's even these things that Statistic mentioned from 2 years ago. Look, these things is because we know now media is everywhere. They have been from.
Rhoda, I would have to stop you now because we have a guest in the building and she cannot take too much time off work. Let's welcome Ifyok all the way from UAE. Ifyok, good morning. She's on the show with us.
Hi, Ifyok. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Ifyok, we can hear you.
Ifyok.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ifyok.
Good morning.
First time showing your face live, not in the comment section. Now you're on the show. How do you feel? How do you feel, Ifyok?
Oh my goodness. Good morning. I feel
You feel mentored by Jude because you're not showing your face.
okay. I don't know I don't know what to say. I'm just excited. I'm just happy to be here. And you needed to see me run around like I need a break. I need a break right now.
Yeah.
Like to get time to be here. So thank you
Awesome.
everyone. Thanks for
So
having me.
say something to the world. They want to hear you say something. You have a lot to say. I know. I'm sure you're excited. Just say something. The world is listening. Africa is listening. Lagos, Nigeria is listening. And
Hi
say
Lagos, hi
something.
Nigeria, hi the world. What can I say? I think at this moment, it's a time where everyone should, I think, just hold hands and go through this. And it's amazing what you guys are doing, because honestly, it's like a daily bread to me right now, because it's very encouraging to see that there are parents or that there are educators out there that have a heart for quality education, that have a heart to see that things just go better and go the way it should be. So kudos to everyone out there who's doing something, no matter how small it is, who's doing something to see that the education sector is a better world. You know, that we do, that we, you know, we just keep improving with what we're doing. So kudos to everyone out there.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for squeezing out that time
Yes,
from
Oh,
yeah.
your
sure. Sure.
understanding that you're in a different time zone.
Exactly, and with workaround. But I tell you, everyone. I think everyone at work knows that I take out this time to be on this show. Like, you know,
Wow.
so I'm doing a part of my job that allows me to still be on the show while I can, you know, still meet up to my responsibilities at work.
Wow,
Fantastic, fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does Israel have any thoughts on the topic? You know, maybe have quick thoughts before she goes. What they're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just gonna speak from my experience, because while you were all talking, I remember growing up. Okay, and I remember my mother. I'll go back to my mother and her play, the part she played with sex education in our lives. We're four girls in the family, and we had this tradition that at 10 years old, my mother would take you into her room and she would give you the education of your life. You know, it was a time we all looked forward to. So I'm the second girl. And when my first sister had her chance to go in, my mother would wear her or buy her a nice white dress. And she would wear that dress into her room, and she would come out smiling. And all of us would be like, what just happened in there? So when it was my turn, she took me in, and you would be shocked at the things she did and say to me. She had everything you can imagine, you know, pictures, realia, she had everything. And she would say, look, this is what life is, and you're going to this next phase of your life. So before, at the age of 10, I knew everything about a boy with regards to sex and reproduction and everything, and as well as a girl. So I could actually defend myself. I could see what was going on, and I know, oh, this person is, you know, on her monthly time, and I knew exactly what to do. So I think that really helped us. We're four girls, and I can say that it gave us a different perspective. It helped me look at people and life differently, knowing this early. And now for my children, I'm planning to do the same thing. My 9-year-old, she's so excited about being 10 years old that, mommy, when is it going to happen? I've told her what to expect. So I feel that letting children know, especially from home, you know, instead of finding out from outside, finding all of this information from outside would really, you know, helps. Yeah.
So you're going to put on a cape for your kids, or you're going to put on a dressing gown. Is it going to be white as well? White,
Yeah,
like
I will. So, so we've talked about it, and she has identified, like, this is her now, the shop where she wants to buy the white dress from. I'm like, really? So she's taking it to the next level. But of course, I'm gonna buy her like a white dress, and we'll go in, and I'll tell her what it signifies, and all of that stuff. And she's really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Sounding like something like underground spiritual day.
It's a ritual. It's a ritual.
Prophet Jude, do you want to send some prophetic blessings for our joining our show today?
Oh.
Okay, welcome, Ifyok. And
thank you, Mr. Jude. Thank you.
Surprising, not even use your avatar. So I'm still good. I'm still good. so
thank you so much, and thank you for the sacrifice and the time that you took out to join us. And we would look forward to you having coming online frequently. Thank you so much.
And I'll be ready. I'll have my avatar on, and probably I'll have my face out there as well.
Okay.
We'll be looking forward to that.
Same here. Thank you all so much. Thank you. This is a great privilege, and I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Rotimi, there are lots of awesome comments. I think we should take some comments, from the audience.
Before the comments, right? You can't run away from my question. I have a question for KK. Since you ran away, I'm going to get to KK. So we're talking about these conversations. Should this be done with boys and girls being together, or should it be done separately? And I would like KK's thoughts, because I have a special question for Eben and also Jude, because so I'm going to come back to the guys as the men would like to have it, but then let's listen to KK, and I would like to see KK's face while she's talking.
Today, this face is very tired today. I have eye bags. Let's just leave this face and deal with the voice. I'm on Rhoda's screen today. Just leave this face. So the thing, right, with everything education, there needs to be a process around it. So for us, as an educator, what we do is that we have a process around it. So we start, just as Titi has said, from really early, and the first phase is, I know I do remember your question, Mr. Rotimi. I just need to prep the ground before I get to it. So we start from the awareness phase, where you just made aware, knowledge, generally speaking. And then we then move to a few other phases in terms of moving up that academic rigor with respect to sex education. So when the children are much older, there's some things that we do, some conversations we have with just with everybody together, and there's some that we split up the children to have. Why? Because there are times where the girls are feeling a little shy, especially some of them who have started having crushes on each other. And yes, from as early as 6 years, you can hear somebody says, but I have a crush. And again, it's because of environmental influences, which you really cannot take out. There's Disney and all sorts of things that they're looking at without even realizing what a crush or not crush is. So back to your question, as I've mentioned, that some conversations you want to have with only girls, there's some conversations you want to have with only boys. For example, waking up in the morning with an erection is something that you want to have with only boys, because reality, isn't it? But those are conversations you want to have with only them. Then when it comes to sexuality and protection and things like that, then you may want to have some part of that conversation with just with both of them together, or separate them. But you see, the reality is sometimes we forget the fact that education, beyond giving you just knowledge, it also gives you skills and mindsets that puts you in a better position, really. Like Safety Chick said, prepare your children before the day of the problem. And that's the part that we miss out. So a lot of times we don't it's difficult for me to say this because I can't even find the words. We forget that before I became a woman, before I became a wife, I was a person. And that person needs to understand how to cope with certain realities of her life. And that's the part that I think we are missing out, giving children the skills to cope with certain realities, which they honestly may never get to that place, or they may. So sometimes we only focus on, you sleep with a boy, you get pregnant, the boy crosses your leg, you get pregnant at home anyway, not to school. And that's not the truth. So we need to get really real. And I mean, Nana was so clear in the comment section about the fact that we just hide behind foolishness sometimes when it comes to conversations like this. So let me give you an example, right? So I have teenagers, and at the time we're having a conversation. One time we're reading, we're having prayer time at home, and my daughter said, "Oh, but when is it? When is it correct?" But no, we're talking about, I can't remember what we're talking about. But then she went into, but sometimes it's right to have an abortion. Look, my husband and I almost fell off our seats. And I'm like, where did that come from? But by the time we started, we have a house where you really can have a conversation. So we start within that conversation, she started talking about the fact that, some girls have said they know people who was raped and got pregnant and then they had to take out the baby, da 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 da. But you see, what I just realized is things that we hadn't even discussed with them at home. They had discussed it in school. But thankfully, we had a home environment. We were free and open enough to have conversations. So we had those conversations and we made them realize that, there's a norm and there's we had a conversation. But a lot of parents run away from the conversation and push it towards the school. And like Rhoda said, if this partnership is not properly aligned, we don't have a good enough partnership, we're going to mess up on both fronts. And the person who suffers at the end of the day is the child.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I can't really let that. Rotimi, I know I went beyond my question, but I have to
no, you spoke on point, honestly, and I love the example you gave on your daughter. They talk about these things. My friend told me that by the time she had the education with her daughter, this was like, oh yeah, all the things her friends had already said and talked about it. So it's just a reality. I love your on point.
And for me, I feel like, this is why I've been talking recently about having a family safety meeting. As an atmosphere where the children get to do something about safety each week in a fun and a relaxed atmosphere. I had a podcast session with Mr. Kinlami some months ago. And on that podcast, he gave an example where a girl in school, her teacher said to her, are you a virgin? And she was like, excuse me, sir, I don't like that question. Why are you asking me that? And after that, she went back and she told her mother that, my teacher asked me this question. I'm not comfortable with it. And I know you have said to me that if somebody asks me this kind of questions, I should let you know. Guess what? The next day, not just her mother, her father also. And that was what I really loved about it. Many times it seems like only the mothers are pushed to handle this. The father joined. Both of them stormed that school. And in the course of interviews, talking with the school, it was discovered that this teacher had already molested about maybe 14 or 13 girls already. The only reason this came to light was to ask the wrong child, the child that has been empowered. So you see why we must have conversations early. Let's teach them boundaries. Somebody is what are you a virgin? You have a boyfriend. What is your business? Them these things ahead. So when they conversations, they are equipped to act. So thankfully that conversation happened and you were all able to nip it in the bud. The next time she has with her friend, she's more informed than anyone.
Exactly, and can then spread the truth. And I would like to just jump on what, sorry, Rotimi, I will finish up again and go back into my corner. But something that I
don't know how you manage. You just manage somehow. You just come back after, I thought I gave you a knockout. Why now? Take it, stay down.
What I found as well, and just jumping on the train of safety check, is the fact that sometimes some cultural mindsets and things that happen, we just accept them. So one time I went out with the children. They were still young. I think my daughter was about 7 or thereabouts. And I went to the supermarket. But because we had some things already, so I wanted them to go and her brother stayed by the cart while I walked in to buy a few things. And then coming out, I noticed that one of the guards was talking to her. And I said, what is it? He was like, I'm just playing with her. I said, she a toy. How dare you? I went down. And I want people to understand. It's okay to go gangster for your children. I tell my children, if anybody does anything to you, I will kill them. I'm a tiger. So, they're confident in the fact that money has got my back. Anyway, let me stop.
Gangster mommy! Rotimi, back to you. Sorry for us taking over. Rotimi, back to you.
I know, right?
The women are taking over today. Rotimi, we hand over the baton. Back to you. Rotimi, are you there?
I think his network is post.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to start from. I'm just looking for so many ways to actually come in with my own contribution. But I have this story. It's just a very big, which I want us to also pay attention to. The story was all about. I think the girl is about 5 to 6 year old. That is around in their preschool. So when they try to hug this girl, these small little girls tend to tell anybody that please don't hug me, especially men. Now they now try because they sing a lot of poem in school and they may require hug, this and that we hug. So at the end of the day, somebody now tried to hug her by force. So okay, let me hug you. So after hugging her, she now said that so this is hugging. The girl was amazed that so this is hugging. Then everybody were now like curious. Okay, what happened? What do you mean by this is hugging? Okay, what type of hugging did you know? It was that time we now get to know that when the girl hugged the father at home, the father tend to actually, I don't know how to describe that statement, such a private part. So let me just use that statement, such a private part. So
Wow.
that story, I will never forget that story for life. And another story, because I do get those stories on my platform. And there was even one that Barrister Tao, I feel I mean, need to even come in. It was the case of a girl in GSS2 girl. And it was a time for them to go home, and then she started crying. Okay, the teacher actually said, "Why are you crying?" She said that as I'm going home now, so many things will happen because they talk about sex education during the course of study in the classroom. So she now decided to explain everything that is happening to her to the teacher. We now got to know that the father actually slept with the girl, and the mother knows a lot about it. When I reported this story on my platform, we said, "What do we do now?" A lot of suggestions. Okay, should we just go and arrest this father? And at the end of the day, this girl will be fine. Somebody now brought a suggestion again that if you arrest the father, that means this girl will be fatherless and this home will be divided. It was then I also get another suggestion that there's this Yoruba adage. Yeah, we call it "pamisile." That means kill me at home, don't kill me outside. A family again, and instead of during the New Year thing, they brought the father upstairs and they beat hell out of the father just because the father was actually doing the wrong thing. I think the major solution for now is for us. The major question for now for me is how to prevent this, which we actually talk about little part of it, and how to actually educate those ones that are actually being molested. Because I
Mm.
observe that it tends to actually affect them even after everything has actually happened. The way they think, the way
Yeah.
they talk, they tend not to even. If you even talk to them, like as a
Mm.
teacher, if you talk to them anyhow, they tend to take everything as if heaven is about to come down.
Yeah.
Everything about them is upside down. You're even trying to even advise them this and that. Like the girl I actually talk about, I think the day before yesterday, that no, you are still young, this and that. Finish your
Yeah.
school. Because I know that by the time
Mm.
she finish her school, she will have been enlightened and she will have gained her sense by that time. I think what everybody, even to early years, because I was surprised of that early year child, that ordinary organ, she understood that organ alone is not about touching her private part, and she don't actually want that organ at all. Until she now experience organ from another
Yeah.
person. Oh, this is
Wow.
organ. So I see
That
a lot, but different solution. I'm just looking for different solutions to educate parents out there. Even boys are even facing a lot for now. Boys, imagine
I agree.
teacher
Yeah.
bringing a boy to the lab and start touching the boy's thing. And then
yeah.
the more you touch him to that kind of a small boy, the more the boy thinks about a lot of things. Just a lot. Mr. Rotimi,
Wow.
take over.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Mr. Rotimi, welcome back. We lost you for a while, but Eben filled the gap, wonderfully. So welcome back.
So can I quickly sort of like
I wanted us to take comments from the audience before we then come back. People have so
Las
let's take some
Vegas,
comments.
Nevada,
We need to take
ambassador.
comments from the audience.
Okay.
So Rotimi, over to you.
I
Let's
think
take
Jordan
comments
wants to
from the
say something.
audience. Because we have only 5 minutes left on the show.
Yeah, 5 minutes left. Yeah, 5 minutes left.
Rotimi, are you there?
I think Rhoda should actually start a comment right away so that
So
Yeah.
let's
the next one is
Ifyok
fast.
take our comments today for us. Ifyok.
Oh,
Okay.
I know we are trying
So,
to.
okay,
So you can
Rotimi,
just
over
read
to
from the.
It's not yet showing on the screen yet.
Okay, I've seen the comments. Do I start from the beginning, from like the very first comments? Okay, so change gear. Okay.
Rotimi,
Let's just make. Let's just pick the major comments, not the greetings. The major comments.
Okay. Okay.
The major comments. So let's have the major comments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it on the screen. Sorry. Okay, so we have, all right,
okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Spelling Bee Nigeria says it has to be high quality teaching when the purpose of sex education is being addressed. Okay, that's from Rhoda. And Rotimi says the same thing. Thank you, Rhoda. She says it has to be high quality teaching when the purpose of sex education is being addressed. It's important that the children know what sex is all about. Why sex anyway? Favor says we don't talk about sex to kids because so they won't get spoiled. But it's it's the other way around. The untold secret must be told so that our children will not fall victims. That's really important. They don't get spoiled. What's the definition of spoiled here? Like, we look at children and we're like, this child is spoiled. How do you say a child is spoiled? But it's important that they know so they don't fall victims to people out there who have, distorted views on, what sex is all about. Thank you, Favor. And
take Nana's comment next.
The next comment, please.
I think you have to read from the screen because.
Oh, yeah.
The comment from Nana is the next comment. The next comment from Nana. Okay, you can take this. It's back. It's back. Okay.
Okay, from Nana. Nana! Did I get it right? All right. So Nana says, in my opinion, sexual education should be incorporated into the Nigerian curriculum and addressed seriously, as we have here in Ireland. I agree. I totally agree. Like right from the early years, it should be incorporated into the curriculum. When you start to teach children about the parts of their bodies and all of that, I agree with you, Nana. Teachers should be trained on how to address this topic appropriately. Doctors and nurses should also be brought in to educate children based on their developmental milestones, ability, and environmental exposures. All stakeholders should be involved in this discussion and education. Thank you so much, Nana. All stakeholders, parents, any knowledgeable other, parents, educators, doctors, everybody that's, involved with the growth and development of any child. Thank you so much, Nana, for that comment. The Learning Craft says co-partnerships with parents play a critical role. Okay, that's from Rhoda. Co-partnerships with parents, exactly, because parents don't know all things. Parents, not all parents know that they should educate their child. So organizations should come and partner with parents to educate the child. Okay, that's from Rhoda. The next comment, please, Mr. Rotimi.
Okay.
Nana again says that one of our biggest challenges in Africa. Sorry? Next comment, please. Okay, Nana says one of our biggest challenges in Africa is our culture. Most Africans are very pretentious. when it comes to conversations around sex. That's true. You need to hit the nail on the head. There's no pretense. Not tell the child, okay, like teaching the child the parts of the body. You cannot call it vagina, call it Regina, or you call it, just give it some special names. I know like my 2-year-old knows that the vagina is the vagina, and this is how, she knows it's private to her. So there's no need pretending about it. Thank you so much, Nana. Pretentious religious piety, cultural beliefs, body shaming, etc., make sexual education a taboo. We are also quick to adopt the culture of silence. These are some of the reasons why sexual abuse is prevalent. We need to discuss these issues and educate our societies. Honestly, with the issue of silence, Nana has hit that nail on the head. I find that if your child is able to talk to you as a parent, the child should be comfortable to come to you. And, when he or she has had any issues, I don't think this will be a problem if that happens. All right. Thank you, Nana, for that comment. Next comment, please, Mr. Rotimi. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, probably that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess my job is done there.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ifyoki. You've been super amazing. Thank you so much. Just to leave a comment around incorporating into Nigerian curriculum, it's already there, which is why the question is of quality. What sort of quality is it? This is why we're talking about the high quality teaching and learning. It's about the experience of the lessons, also about the rigor of the content itself. Is it our biggest problem? It is one of our problems, and that could affect the child when the child is struggling with learning. So it's something that we should look into. I wanted to mention earlier that that we didn't explore the broad spectrum of sex education, because sex education is not only about sex abuse. It's really wide: reproductive health, reproductive rights. Sigmund Freud talked about that so widely. We are sexual beings, and so we actually communicate from that point of view. Basically, it's a wide area. But it's fine that we actually focus on this aspect of it, because next time when we talk about it, we want to explore the other areas and
very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rhoda. Drew, we need to hear from you before we call this.
I think I've been listening to the ladies, and it seems they have a whole lot of ideas about it, and the guys don't have ideas about it.
No. Eben has spoken, so please give us your thoughts.
Eben does not represent Jude.
That's why I said you should please give us your thoughts before we call the show to an. Please give us your thoughts on what we've been saying today.
Anyway, I agree with a lot of the talk on how to bring up children rightly, and the truth is that we always there's a whole lot that is wrong with the society that actually we cannot really explain it to the children, in the sense that children see adults do these things, right? So how do you tell a child that it's only adults and it's only so it's almost like they're looking up to become adults to start exploring. So there should be a better, I don't know, there should be better policies to actually guide against this, because what we have now is actually not sufficient. What we have now is not, but we can still do our best as parents and teachers, but what we have, laws we have now, are not sufficient to actually protect children from abuse.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Rotimi is back. I hope. Rotimi, is that you? Back live and direct?
Yeah, he's freezing.
Okay. Oh, wow. Honestly, thank you, everyone. It's actually 10 minutes way past the time. This has been interesting. I agree with Rhoda that we need to explore other parts of sex education when we, take this around. Thank you for everyone that joined us. Thank you. There's some comments that we couldn't take as well. Thank you, Academy TV, Jesse, Mark, Jesse. Thank you everyone for joining us. And Rotimi, if you are here, do you want to just come and close the show?
There, he's on 2 screens. How is he using 2 cameras?
Rotimi, do you want to formally close the show? If you thank you so much for joining us live and direct. It's good to have you from this comment section. I really wish we could have seen your face, but we'll make do with your picture for now. Rotimi,
you have made my
volume so that we can hear you. Unmute the second one. We can hear you. Unmute.
He's talking.
Rotimi,
if you can hear me, I'd
unmute.
like to thank everyone for joining. I'm trying to connect back. We promise to have a great show tomorrow. Thank you, Ifyok, and everyone who joined for the first time. This is the Pearl of Blessing, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you, everyone. Well, Rotimi, sorry, network issues, the Nigerian palaver. Okay, we are still live, Rotimi, we're still live. I'm sure he's not aware. And he hasn't formally ended the show. Oh, wow. Rotimi.
I think he's ended. All right.
Okay, everyone. Bye, Efia. Oh, God, you sorry, we didn't know you were.